Are you familiar with the story of Pavlov's dogs? Pavlov was the scientist who would ring a bell every time he fed his dogs. That way they would create a response. So whenever they heard the bell ring, they would start to salivate and they would jump to action, ready to eat. Well, the world wants you to be like that. Maybe not with food, but with how your brain operates. The world doesn't want you thinking freely and clearly. It wants you thinking on its terms, waiting for the bell to ring so you jump to action and talk about whatever issue they want you to talk about. And not just on your terms either, but on the world's terms, using their language and vocabulary, using their timetable. But the gospel doesn't want you to be like this. The gospel wants your mind to be free. And this has been a problem that we've had throughout the fall. In Jesus' time, we can look to Matthew 11, and Jesus says, "To what will I compare this generation? You're like children crying out in the streets. You say, 'We played the flute for you, Jesus, but you wouldn't dance. We wailed, Jesus, but you would not mourn.'" Jesus realized that the world wants to think for you, for your mind to be enslaved, and to have a great amount of uncertainty. Because when you're operating like this, you're just waiting for the bell to ring, you are very uncertain. You're not sure what is really true and what's not. You're just waiting for whatever the world feeds you. You know, we have a real problem in our modern world of untruth, of people not being able to see and receive truth. And the church should be on the forefront of declaring what is good, true, and beautiful. You know, a lot of times we'll say, I was really uncertain about that last year, or maybe 5 years ago, whoever knows, something in the past. We're uncertain about it, but then after the fact, we see a little bit clearly and we say, hindsight is 20/20. Oh well. But this is not how sanctified people should be living. We're often taught that we need to wait for more information, for all the facts before we act, before we think. Wait for what the official story and the experts say. And while it is true that we certainly need to wait for information, the amount of time when we should be waiting is a lot less than what people think. Because in truth, we're never going to have all the facts. We're never going to know everything. And the worldview we have, our understanding of good and evil, that illuminates truth a lot more than does our access to all the fine little details. And this is something which history bears out as being entirely correct. The worldview we have, that shows us a lot more than does simply the information around us. The church should be on the forefront of declaring the good, true, and beautiful, and not just waiting for the bell of the world to ring and allowing that to show for us what is true. Just waiting on the tail end of things for whatever the world dishes our way. So thank you for joining me. God wants you to think freely. And on that, God love you and have a blessed day.